All right, ready for a deep dive? We're tackling A Course in Miracles today. And no, before you ask, it's not about pulling rabbits out of hats.
More like pulling miracles out of everyday life, right? It's about a shift in perception, a return to love, really. When I first really got that, it was huge for me.
I can imagine. So for everyone listening, we're going deep into this course, figuring out how forgiveness becomes this like superpower, how miracles are maybe way more common than we think, and honestly getting a whole new perspective on what's even real in the first place.
Because the Course just comes right out and says it. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Got to unpack that one.
Yeah.
What's the Course even talking about with this real versus unreal business?
It's like this. You know those times you totally misread a situation because you're bringing in all this baggage from your past, like old hurts, expectations, that kind of stuff? That's the film that's shaping how you see things.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
So the movie playing out in your mind, that's how you're experiencing the world in that moment, right? All colored by those past experiences. But the Course is saying there's this deeper level, this knowledge that's unchanging, pure truth, like the light source of the projector itself. That's the peace of God within you.
So it's not about pretending the physical world isn't there, but realizing it's like one layer, and there's something more fundamental behind it.
Exactly. And that leads us to forgiveness, which is like the cornerstone of this whole course. Not about letting anyone off the hook, but about freeing yourself from lugging around all that resentment.
Which totally makes me think of that line. Forgiveness is the greatest gift you can give yourself. But we're not saying what someone did was okay.
Right.
Right.
It's more about recognizing that a lot of times what we're seeing as this huge wrong is actually coming from a place of pain in the other person. Forgiveness, in this sense, it becomes about seeing past the behavior to that shared humanity underneath.
It's like we're all walking around with these invisible wounds, bumping into each other, creating conflict without even meaning to. Forgiveness, then, it's like this way to de-escalate the whole thing.
Yes. And that shift in perception, that's where the real magic comes in, where miracles start happening according to the Course.
Okay, so here's where I need you to break it down even further for me. Because when I hear miracles, I'm thinking like parting the Red Sea, you know? Is that what we're talking about here? So are we talking like parting the Red Sea kind of miracles here? I'm not really seeing that on my daily commute.
Yeah, no, think of it less about the big flashy stuff and more, it's a different kind of magic, you know? The Course actually says miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Like, we're supposed to experience them.
Okay, so then what are these miracles, if not, like, you know, walking on water?
It's those moments when fear just kind of melts away and love takes its place, and suddenly everything's different, even if nothing outwardly changed. Like maybe you finally get where someone's coming from, or you find the strength to forgive yourself for something you've been beating yourself up about.
Makes me think of that line. Los milagros curan porque suplen una falta. Miracles heal because they supply a lack. It's like we think we need something outside ourselves, but then bam, the miracle is realizing it was there within us all along. You know?
Yes, exactly. We get so bombarded with this message of not enough, you know, not good enough, not strong enough. But miracles, these shifts in how we're seeing things, they remind us of the abundance that's always available, the potential that's there.
Like we're training our minds to see the world through a whole new lens, one that's focused on connection instead of all this separation. Which makes me think the Course isn't just about personal miracles, right? It's also about how we relate to everyone else too.
Absolutely. There's this line that always stuck with me. Los milagros hacen que las mentes se unan en Dios. Miracles make minds one in God. It's this beautiful idea that when we experience that opening of the heart, it doesn't stop with us. It goes outward.
So it's not just about our own transformation, but about being part of something bigger, like a healing, recognizing that shared humanity.
Exactly. It's like those random acts of kindness. You might think they're no big deal, but for the person on the receiving end, that small act of love, that is a miracle. It can totally shift someone's whole day, their whole outlook.
And it reminds us that, hey, we're not in this alone.
Right.
We're all figuring this out as we go.
And that's where the real power of forgiveness kicks in. Remember how the Course says, Los milagros son expresiones naturales de perdón. Miracles are natural expressions of forgiveness. Choosing to forgive isn't just about the past. It's about remembering that we're all interconnected.
Which, circles us right back to that first big statement. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. If love is the true reality, then all that fear, the feeling separate, all the negativity, those are like illusions we're creating in our own minds.
And illusions we can absolutely learn to see through. That's what's so amazing about Course in Miracles. To me, it's not about pretending life's not messy, not challenging, but about facing those challenges with a totally different way of looking at them.
About choosing to see the love, the potential, even when things are tough. But there's one last piece here I think we got to dig into, the Holy Spirit. Now, for some people, that brings up a whole lot of imagery, you know. So how does A Course in Miracles approach that whole concept? So it's not like, you know, picturing angels or anything when the Course talks about the Holy Spirit.
Not quite. It's more like that little voice inside you, you know, the one that says, hey, maybe look at it this way instead, like a nudge toward love, even when you're feeling anything but loving.
Okay, so less about some external being, more about connecting with a wiser part of ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's that inner compass, always pointing us back to who we really are, which the Course says is love. There's this line, right? El Espíritu Santo es el mecanismo de los milagros. The Holy Spirit is the mechanism of miracles. It's by tapping into that inner guidance that we can actually make those shifts happen, those everyday miracles.
Man, that's powerful. You know, at the start of this deep dive, I knew A Course in Miracles was about changing yourself. But honestly, hearing you talk about it, it's way more active than I thought. It's not just wishing things were different. It's about actually choosing to see things differently.
And that's where the real work is, right? It's not about being perfect overnight. It's those small daily choices that add up. Choosing forgiveness over anger, choosing understanding, choosing love, even when it's tough.
Like building a muscle. You don't just walk into the gym and lift a zillion pounds right away. You got to start small, keep at it, and slowly you get stronger.
Exactly. And just like with working out, some days are going to be harder than others. Some days it's going to feel impossible to choose love, to forgive, to see that miracle right in front of you. But the Kaiser reminds us, un milagro nunca se pierde. A miracle is never lost. Even when we don't see it, that energy's still there, still going out and touching everything around us.
That's incredible. Seriously, it makes me think, like, even those little moments where we choose kindness instead of being judgmental, you know, where we choose to be understanding instead of getting angry, those little things matter.
100%. They totally add up. They create a ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
Shifting things little by little towards more love, more understanding in the world.
Wow. This has been amazing. We just dove headfirst into A Course in Miracles, and honestly, it feels like we're just scratching the surface. But one big thing I'm taking away is this. It's not about waiting around for this huge life-changing miracle to happen to us. It's about realizing we have the power right here, right now, to choose love, to forgive, to see ourselves and the world with fresh eyes.
And to remember, we're not alone in that, right? We're all walking each other home, and every act of forgiveness, every time we choose love over fear, that is the miracle.
So well said. And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave everyone listening with something to think about. If miracles really are about how we see things, about our perception, what would be possible if you started looking at your own life, your relationships, everything through that lens of love and forgiveness? What could you create? What miracles are waiting to be seen? Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep seeking those everyday miracles.